Cole, I'm throwing you a little bit of a curveball here because we've got a ton of species in here. You know, hickory, of course, swing elm, those are relatively easy. Fragrant sumac, red bud, which is a legume. Yes, usually takes a different herbicide to terminate a red bud versus, you know, like an elm or something like that, so in some cases. So we got all these different species. Tell us what you're going to use to control this for us.
Right, so we're using a mixture of glyphosate and escort. Glyphosate targets a broad spectrum of things. Escort's really good on woody vegetation. As you mentioned before, some of the fragrant sumac, some of the buckthorn, but we do want to leave some of those mature oaks, very good wildlife trees. So we will try to stay away from spraying against those, you know, increase the ground productivity, but take away all the stuff that's going to choke out the sunlight and reduce any of the growth in the understory.
And those products are not ground active, so it's not like a Mazapir, which is a great product. Right. I love it, but it's not appropriate for these hardwood stands because it can get in the soil and remain ground active for a while, get in the roots and terminate a tree a couple years later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, absolutely. I mean, with Arsenal, as Grant was saying, with the soil activity, if you were to spray that around larger oaks that you want to, you know, remain, could kill them. But this way, we're using a foliar active herbicide, therefore it gets on some of this green leaf material, stuff like that, gets into the plant, has an effective kill.
And how long is it going to take for us to kind of see results?
Very climate dependent. If you get a lot of hot summer heat days, you'll see it a lot quicker. But if it were to be a lot of overcast weather, it may take a little longer. But typically, you'll see some yellowing within the first week, especially within the first 2 weeks.
And we'll keep track of that for you. And this was one of my nemesis. This is buckthorn, of course, and my gosh, this thing, if you just look right here, and I'm not counting them, but there's several dozen seeds right here. It tends to make a very viable seed, which is important what you're talking about. The herbicides you're using by my request are not ground active. Right. And that's why the landowner, me in this case, has to be responsible. They're going to come through and terminate this, and I've got to stay on a good burn rotation, or I'll be right back in it. Correct. Our plan right now is they're going to spray this, and we're going to do a follow-up dormant season burn. Might try to do a growing season burn in this one area where there's hardly any big trees we care about saving. All these seeds are going to hit the ground. Those are actually, you know, first-year saplings, something like this, easy to kill. That's going to get enough heat that will girdle that, and it doesn't have a big enough root structure to survive. Right. We get in trouble, but Cole's going to take care of this, is all the stump sprouts. It's got a 20, 30, 40-year-old root system. You almost can't get a fire hot enough. You may top kill it, but you're not going to set those roots back. Yes, sir. That's why we have to use a herbicide. Absolutely. At this stage. So we're going to come in, Cole and his crew done a great job killing everything up here. We're going to follow up with fire, and I can't wait to share this with you as time goes on.